is real. Is this real? Am I?
Who are you?
I'm you.
That's an amazing accent.
I like yours as well.
So confused, British Dennis.
You create your own reality. I've known beggars to be kings, and kings to be beggars, all because they believed it so. It's your choice.
It's my choice.
It's your universe.
It's my universe.
And you are God.
I am God.
Mutation. It is the key to our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from a single-celled organism into the dominant species on the planet.
Now, as you can see, this is the evolution meter, and I've put God, the creator of everything, on the right side, and evolution on the left. I went ahead and put you guys all on the fence, because of course you're going to hear out my
Actually, no. Yeah, let's start where I would start.
Kent Hovind is back. He already has a YouTube channel and has been busy uploading all of his old videos in the certain knowledge that there are new sheep to shear. He has served the time for his crime, and we should allow him that, except of course that he still denies his crime, and it is obvious that self-reflection is one pastime he did not engage in during his incarceration. Humility is not a word in Hovind's lexicon.
See, Charlie? These liberals are trying to assassinate my character. I can't change their mind.
You're wasting our time. You're not going to get us to not believe in evolution.
And why is that?
Because the smartest scientists in the entire world all agree that it's real.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because, Mr. Reynolds, science is a liar sometimes.
Charles Lyell, in this book, building on the work of a couple other guys, he developed the idea that each layer of the Earth is a different age. And he invented what we call today the geologic column. How many have ever heard of the geologic column before? He divided the Earth up into layers, and they gave each one a name, an age, and an index fossil. Maybe you saw the movie Jurassic Park, named after the Jurassic layer. Each layer was given a name, and they told everybody how old it was. Now, this was done in 1830, long before there ever was carbon dating, potassium-argon dating, rubidium-strontium dating, lead-208, lead-206, uranium-235, uranium-238. None of those existed. This was all done based on the assumption that each layer is a different age. They made up the whole thing out of the clear blue sky. Now, it's a fact, the Earth has many layers of rock. No question, that's a fact, folks. How'd they get there? Well, there are two interpretations. The evolutionists will say the layers formed slowly over millions of years, and each one is a different age. The Bible-believing Christian says, oh no, these layers are all from the flood in the days of Noah. You can get a jar of dirt, shake it up, set it down. It'll settle into layers for you in a few minutes. But the guys, again, who believe in evolution are always trying to erase the line and make you think their interpretation is part of the fact column. The geologic column is actually the Bible for the evolutionist. It can only be found one place on planet Earth. The only place you will ever find the geologic column is in the textbooks. There is no geologic column. This guy admits it. He said if there were a column of sediments, unfortunately no such column exists. A professor I debated one time said, oh, Hovind, you're wrong. Now, there are 26 places on planet Earth where the geologic column exists. I said, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong. There are 26 places on planet Earth where the fossils are found in the order you would like them to be. But that doesn't prove the geologic column exists in any of those places. There is no geologic column. If there was, in one place it'd be 100 miles thick. And the obvious question would be, where's all this dirt coming from?
I'm a fool because I have more faith in the saints that wrote the Bible?
Yeah, because you just read the words of a bunch of guys that you never met, and you just take it on faith that everything they wrote was true.
And what makes you think what your scientists are writing is any more truer than my saints?
Because there are volumes of proven data, numbers, figures. There are fossil records.
Oh, fossil records. Ah! I didn't even think about the fossil records. I guess I'll concede. Oh, wait, one more thing before I do, Mr. Reynolds. Have you seen these fossil records? The numbers, the figures.
Well, no. No.
Oh, interesting. So let me get this straight, Mr. Reynolds. You get your information from a book written by men you've never met. And you take their words as truth, based on a willingness to believe, a desire to accept, a leap of, dare I say it, faith?
Yeah, okay.
I rest my case.
One of the biggest lies kids face in the textbooks is about the geologic column. It's a joke. It's a hoax. It doesn't exist. Look, there's no question the Earth has layers. But if those layers are different ages, why are there no erosion marks between the layers? They all just fit tight to each other like pancakes. I mean, don't you think if that one layer sat there waiting for the next one to come on top, it'd rain once in a while in 10 million years? Just go home and get a jar of dirt, put some water in it, and shake it up, folks. It'll settle out into layers for you in a few seconds. Called hydrologic sorting.
And his ego has only been inflated by his self-imagined persecution. At first I thought I would let this ignoble occasion pass without comment, but I then realised that though I am an old git for whom time's passage is ever accelerating, and for whom conman Kent being caught and convicted for not rendering unto Caesar seems like it was only yesterday, there will be some fresh-faced youths now tapping their fingers on their NetWeb tablet phones who had recent memories of breastfeeding when King Con Kent was in prison. It has in fact been 9 years, therefore, for those who are not familiar with the slickest snake oil salesman in the creationist business, I thought a very brief reintroduction necessary. The rule when listening to Kent Hovind is simple. Assume that almost invariably every word out of his mouth is a lie. This simple rule is important for two reasons. Firstly, it prevents the Bible-believing creationist Christian from falling into the "he believes what I believe, so I must believe what he believes" trap. And secondly, because almost invariably every word out of his mouth is a lie. Kent Hovind's modus operandi is to smile vapidly, talk fast, sling as much as is humanly possible, and overwhelm his opponents, who, while busy trying to clean one of his turds off the floor, will find themselves buried under a dozen more.
Charlie Darwin said in his book on page 170, he said, "It's a truly wonderful fact that all animals and all plants throughout all time and space should be related to each other." Isn't he saying the birds and the bananas are related? He sure is. That's a lie. There's no proof any animal's related to a different kind of animal, other than maybe a common designer. Charlie noticed what is sometimes called microevolution. I don't like that word. I think it confuses kids. Okay, I'm going to use it, but you understand what I mean. Microevolution is actually just a variation, okay? Dogs produce a variety of dogs. Roses produce a variety of roses. Nobody argues about that. It's a fact, folks. It happens. The question is, does it go any farther than that? I wouldn't question the fact that the dog, the wolf, and the coyote had a common ancestor. But every 5-year-old kid knows they're the same kind of animal. We had one try it earlier in the seminar. We had a dog, a wolf, a coyote, and a banana. We asked the 5-year-old, which one is not like the others? He got it right away, the banana. See, the Bible says they bring forth after their kind. National Geographic here has an article, From Wolf to Woof, How the Dog Evolved. Well, you better define what you mean by evolved. Right, the majority of folks do not think they came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago. Now, if you want to believe that, that's fine. I don't care what you believe, but don't call it science. Evolution has 6 different meanings. First, you'd have to have cosmic evolution, the origin of time-space matter. Secondly, you'd have to have chemical evolution. The hydrogen from the Big Bang would have to evolve to all 92 elements, plus the synthetic ones. Then you'd have to have what we call stellar evolution. The stars would have to evolve. And nobody's ever seen a star form. We see them blow up all the time. And yet there's enough stars out there that everybody on planet Earth can own 2 trillion of them to yourself. Those are the ones we know about. Then we'd have to have what we call organic evolution, the origin of life. Nobody has a clue how life can get started from non-living material. We'll cover more on that in the next session, about the origin of life. Next, they have what's called macroevolution, changing from one kind of animal into another. Nobody's ever seen a dog produce a non-dog. And lastly, we have variations within the kind that some people call microevolution. Okay, this one happens, whatever you call it, it happens. The first 5 are purely religious. But the definition of the word evolution is really confused for the students on purpose, I believe. I think it takes a giant leap of faith and logic just to go from micro to macro. Sure takes a big leap to go to the other 4 stages. Macroevolution is a fantasy based on imagination. They believe it must have happened, but there's no evidence for it at all. Teachers, though, will give the students one definition of the word to get them to believe the theory, and then they slowly weed in the rest of it when they're not looking. They're going to say, evolution is descent with modification. That's deceitful. That's not really what they mean by evolution. This textbook says, evolution is change over time. First definition. Watch how they change the definition now. In other words, living things have changed over time. Wait a minute. What happened to the first 4 stages? You're going to skip all the way down to living things and just assume the first 4 happened? That's not really what they mean by evolution, folks. What they really mean is the whole theory comes as a package deal. Hitler said, let me control the textbooks and I'll control the state.
You are tuned in to God's Property Radio. Here are your hosts, Sam and Dan.